Alright guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to talk about mental game and why your mental game is important. So stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the mental game and why it's important. But first, please hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos. I don't have a jersey on today. I'm home relaxing, So if you like any of the jersey you see in my videos, I'll leave a link to Bullify down below, and along with my coupon code you can use. You need any cleaning products, you can head on over to Creating the Difference and order yourself some amazing cleaning products. And if you like any of the balls you see in my video, I'll also leave the link to that below to GibhartsBowling.com. You can go order yourself up some bowling balls and get bowling. Alright guys, we're going to talk about mental game today, and I struggle with mental game for the last 4 years that I've bowled, because when I bowled previously, years ago, I bowled for fun. I didn't want to learn about bowling. I didn't want to learn about surface, Of course, that wasn't a big talk back then, I wasn't into bowling like I am now. Like now I watch videos on surfaces, on ball maintenance, to techniques, to lane patterns. I'm getting myself involved with bowling more and more every year. And then I come to find out that my mental game ain't very good. Some nights it's good, other nights it's like, why did I even go bowling, I didn't even show up to bowling when I was bowling. I was physically there, but mentally I was not there. So, prime example of mental game for me is I get in my head a lot. I'll make a bad first ball, or I'll miss an easy spare, and then I get in that negative thought, and I try to get out of it. My fiance, will try to talk with me and be like, hey, forget it, just move on. But it's tough sometimes. I'm working on getting mental game fixed. A good example was this past Thursday night. I started off great. I told my buddy Steve we'd ride together since we live in the same town. We bowl in a different town, so we take turns riding. And I told him on the way home, since I've been back bowling the last 4 years, Thursday night was the best night I ever had. Everything was going right. My timing was right. My ball release was right. My release was on point. I was hitting my marks consistently. I would say 95% I was on target for the first 2 games. Hitting my mark consistently. My first game I missed the 9 pin, and that was the only open. My second game I had a clean game. I shot a 235, a 258, or 256, something like that. After 2 games, I had a 493 series. So I was on fire. I was using my Zen Soul, and I got out of my comfort zone. Normally, I stand with my feet about the 27 to 30 board. I like to throw the big hook. In practice, it wasn't coming back like it should. So in practice, I moved to about 17 to 20, and I was coming in the pocket perfect. So I'm like, all right, I know what I got to do. I made a good adjustment. I'm not a very straight player, as if you're watching my videos. I hook the ball pretty hard. I don't like to play up 10, up, any of them fairly straight. But I got out of my comfort zone, which sometimes you need to do, and it was working. Mental game was strong. I was self-talking. I was doing my breathing. Everything was on point. Then this is where it went wrong. And I blame myself for it all the time. After game 2, I seen that I had a 493. I'm like, that's awesome. Because I think I finished like a 4 something on Monday night. That's how bad I bowled Monday. And we got a thing called the 700 Club. I don't know if any of you guys have 700 Club, but if you bowl 700 series, you're entered into a tournament at the end of the year. You pay $5 once. So if you bowl 8 700 series, you only pay $5 once. And I'm like, all right, here we go. I get 2 shots at 2 things. One, I get a shot at that 700 Club to be entered in that tournament at the end of the year. 2, I'll hit my goal. I want to bowl 700 this year is one of my goals. I'm like, all right. So this is where everything come into play with my mental game. First 2 frames, I left a 10 pin on the first ball, missed it, didn't pick it up. Second frame, threw it, left a 410 split. Still in the Zen Soul. So I'm like, all right, it's time to get out of this ball. It's time to get into something else. So I got into my DV8 collision. Something with a shinier cover stock, an ASIM, so it's going to snap back for me a little harder than the Soul did. Third frame, fourth frame, fifth frame, strikes. I'm like, all right, this is good. Look down at my PinPal app. I could shoot like a 240 or 250 if I strike out. I'm like, all right, I got this 207. 207 is all I need to get to 700 series. And I'm in for the 700 Club and my goal. And got into 6th frame and left a split. Now I got in my head. It was horrible. Like, my mental game went from way up here high on the pedestal, and I got knocked off. Because I got in my head, oh man. Then I looked down my app again, and it was down to like a 222, and I'm like, oh, I can't mess up anymore. And I got in my head. And my timing and my release was still on point. But hitting my marks down lane was all over the place. I looked like an amateur bowler. And I got in my head. And I couldn't get out of it. And the bad thing is, I ended up shooting a 145 that game. All because I got in my head. I got too excited that I was going to hit my goal and have a shot at 700 series in the 700 Club. And then I got worked up about it. I was like all excited, amped up, ready to go. I'm like, I got this. I've been doing good tonight. And then I had a couple bad shots, and then my excitement went down to what's going on. Really? Why are you making bad shots? The negative talk started coming in. I didn't self-talk. I wasn't breathing. I was rushing. So what I'm trying to get at is your mental game plays a big factor in bowling. You got to work on staying focused, stay on task of what you're trying to do, and mentally stay in the moment. Because once you get out of that moment, you're up a creek without a paddle. And I learned firsthand that I needed to stay focused. I needed to stay on task and stay and bowl in the present. Like a lot of these guys say, bowl one frame at a time, one shot at a time. Forget your last shot if it was bad. Move forward. I didn't move forward. So basically what I'm getting at, guys, is today we gotta work on your mental game when you go practice. Try to stay in the green. Don't get in the red with your mental game. Stay focused, stay on task, and bowl your best. You know, like I'm going to say, like everybody else says, you know, one shot at a time, one frame at a time. You know, don't worry what you did the last frame, you know, whether it was good or bad. Just keep moving forward and focus on what you need to do. If you don't, you'll end up going from bowling 2 great games to having 1 miserable game, and that will ruin your night. And granted, I still bowled a 638 series. I still had a 200 average for the night. You know, I think it was a 212 average for them 3 games. Got my average from 172 to 192. But focus, 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 guys. You know, pay attention and to what you're doing and stay in the moment. But if you got any tips on mental games, on your mental game and that, please leave them in the comments below. You know, we can help each other out, you know, different tips and tricks that you guys do to stay present and stay in the moment. And I know there's a lot of videos out there on it. So just wanted to chat a little bit about the mental game and how it affects people and how it can take a good night and turn it bad real quick. So, all right, guys. Till next time, I'll see you out on the lanes.